Hello everyone, Gilligan Kruger 0829 here, and welcome to my first Top 5 Reasons list video. And for this video, I'm going to turn to one of the most hugely debated topics in science fiction. The epic confrontation between Star Wars and Star Trek. Yes, ever since these two series first debuted, Star Trek back in the 60s and Star Wars back in the late 70s, everyone has been going on again and again over which one is superior. Fanboys, film experts, television analysts, and even cast members of the actual series have favored their own, giving several reasons. Now, like many fanboys, I like both of them very much. However, from all the Star Wars videos you guys see me posting, I'm guessing I don't have to go too far into explaining which one is my favorite. That being said, however, what I want to talk about today is the reasons people give for liking one more than the other. Now, again, like a fanboy, I breeze through plenty of YouTube videos looking for Star Wars and Star Trek scenes, trailers, movie news, and everything. And there's no one that you could go before you go. Let me rephrase that actually. You cannot scroll too far down before you find Star Trek is better because so-and-so, Star Wars is better because so-and-so. And you see lots of very intelligent reasons people give for liking both of them. I see themes are better, characters are better, stories are more creative, the technology is more innovative. I just see a ton. However, amidst those comments and the videos, I also see a lot of stupid reasons people give for liking one. Okay, maybe not stupid, that's probably too intense of a word, but reasons that to me just don't make any sense, particularly with Star Trek. And that's what I'm here today. I'm here to talk about my 5 dumb reasons, again, probably a strong word, but I'm going to use it anyway, that people give for liking Star Trek more than Star Wars. And first off, as you know, I have total respect for all things Star Trek. While I'm not a Trekker or a Trekkie, whatever you want to call yourself, I do respect their genre, and I know Trekkies, you're probably going to watch this, and if you want to make a video saying 5 dumb reasons people give for saying Star Wars is better, you know what? I invite it. And I know I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with you, but I just felt like I needed to address this topic. It wouldn't bother me so much, but some of these reasons I see again and again and again, and they just don't make sense, and that's what I'm going to address here. So I think I've rambled on about the topic of the video, so let's get into it. These are the top 5 reasons people give for liking Star Trek more than Star Wars that really don't make any sense. Off the list with this reason because I think it's the only one of the 5 that's actually debatable, and with several of the other reasons I'm going to break it down as to what I believe it means. I think the idea behind this one is the fact that Star Trek is more grounded in a science fiction universe, while Star Wars branches out into elements of fantasy with like ghosts and the Force and everything like that. And of course, science fiction is more based on what could actually happen, whereas opposed to fantasy is based on stuff that is likely to never happen. And yeah, you know what? I agree with that. The first part of this, I think, is completely accurate. Yes, Star Trek is more of a science fiction saga, and Star Wars is kind of a fantasy saga. Now granted, Wars has elements of sci-fi, and Trek I've seen plenty of elements of fantasy, but they stick to those pretty strongly. That being said, however, here's the question I beg to you. Is the fact that one movie is, or one series, or franchise in this case, is the fact that one franchise is one genre different from the others, even a more realistic genre, enough to say that it's technically more intelligent than the other? I say no, because... Alright, let me give an example. Like, let's take a look at some other fantasy and some other science fiction properties. Is Lord of the Rings, there we go, one of the most critically acclaimed fantasy series of all time. However, because it's fantasy, does that make it less intelligent than, say, Battlefield Earth? I'm gonna say no, because the thing is, what makes a franchise intelligent is its substance, what makes it tick. You can't conclude that something is more intelligent by just its label, the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing, and that makes no sense. Star Wars, yes, while it is fantasy, does have some pretty clever ideals, and so does Star Trek. In fact, I would probably argue that it's probably true. However, the reason I'm putting this on my list is because most people seem to think just because Star Trek is more in science fiction, that automatically makes it better without actually analyzing the material. And that's not the case at all. So, again, it's debatable. I kind of agree that possibly Star Trek may be smarter, but the idea is don't judge it just on what it is. Judge it for what it's doing. Judge it for its content. However, still a rather reasonable excuse, unlike the next 4 reasons. Plan 9 from Outer Space came out before both of them. Is it better? No. Enough said. End of discussion. Next reason. Now, for this reason, we come to what a lot of fanboys consider to be one of the lowest points of the Star Wars universe, the prequels, released from 1999 to 2005. You know them under the titles of Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Now, let me first start by saying I don't hate any of these movies, or at least not as much as most fanboys do. Having said that, I do completely understand the hate. They're not very engaging most of the time, the characters are pretty dull, and they really feel like they missed the point. So I definitely understand the big disappointment and even hatred towards these movies. That being said, though, again, the reason I don't like it when people give this excuse is that I feel like Trekkies are saying, because the prequels exist, Star Wars as a whole is just too weak. And Star Trek, on the other hand, that there's never been a blemish, there's never been a bad episode, there's never been a bad movie. And I hate to break it to you guys, but, yeah, there kind of have been some bad things to come out of the Star Trek universe. And that's my whole problem with this. I don't like the idea of thinking that everything Star Trek has created is pitch perfect. Like, again, I haven't watched too much of the actual series, so I don't know much about it, but I'm willing to bet, as with any television series, that there was a bad episode around every now and then, even if it was only 1 or 2 per season. Doctor Who, fantastic series, but there's a bad episode of that every now and then. Some are even universally famous for how much they're hated, and I'm guessing the case goes for Star Trek too. Again, I just don't like the idea of you thinking that just because Star Wars has had a few low points, that's enough to say it's worse. Star Trek has been there too. I'm just bringing this back to you. And you know what? While we're there, I'm just going to kind of extend on this reason. A lot of people also say Star Wars is weaker because of Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks, as we all know, one of the most hated characters in all of cinema. Again, Trekkies, ask yourself, has there never been one, two, maybe even a few obnoxious or stupid characters in the Star Trek universe?